People like to say the phrase graphics don't matter, gameplay does, and while it is true, we still enjoy looking at nice visuals. But what if you don't want graphics? What if your PC can't handle graphics? What if you love minimalism? Or what if you're just curious like me and you think this effect looks very cool? Well, then you're in the right place, as I'll go over some games I tested, my experience, just like I did in my vertical gaming video. Go check it out if you haven't already, in the top right corner or in the description. Jumping in, we're starting with Doom Eternal and the FPS genre once again, and the game looks stunning. It's like a mix between Return of the Obra Dinn and, well, Doom Eternal, minus the dithering. And thanks to the high poly count, every detail is perfectly preserved, even facial animations. Now the way it works is I'm using a software called Reshade, which applies effects in the render pipeline. It grabs this info from something called the depth buffer, and what you see in this video is all the polygons and shapes that make up the game, but without any textures, shadows, lighting or post-processing effects. True minimalism. And the result? Well, I don't know about you, but I absolutely love how it looks. Feels like I'm playing a sketch version or a storyboard while still being able to make out everything even in the distance. I'm sure there are indie games with this exact look on itch.io, but you can do this with almost any game with this method using the Mesh Edges filter in Reshade, and you absolutely should. It's such a refreshing way to revisit your favorite games. As for other benefits, I'm running the game on the lowest settings except for resolution scaling and mesh quality, LOD, etc. So it runs faster and doesn't cause flickering. Another thing my girlfriend pointed out is it looks way less scary this way, which I never thought about it, but without the creepy atmosphere, dark corners and all the blood, it's more like a tactical VR training type aesthetic than the arcade horror FPS it originally is. Downsides then, I had to add the crosshair myself, as all of the UI is covered by the effect. It means that mission markers, transparent effects, enemy projectiles, text, menus, everything is gone, so I set up a hotkey to toggle it on and off. And I recommend choosing a game that you're already familiar with. Also, you cannot use Reshade in multiplayer games or always online titles, as anti-cheat will pick it up and you can get banned. Overall, however, I had a blast. It's such a cool effect, and even though I played through this section a million times, I was still excited to see how the next part would look. Moving on now to Teardown, it was yet again very cool, but this time in a different way. The ray trace lighting, shadows and reflections were gone, replaced by the unlimited destructible environment and physically rendered particle effects. The voxel-based nature of this game lended it a very different look, as there were no polygons to be found, just blocks and their outlines. It felt very different and gave me a newfound appreciation for the sheer amount of detail this game has. You don't really notice just how much detail is in every corner, but it's amazing. After that, I felt like a more low-poly game, and also preferably the one where you can see your own character, and what better character to see than the one and only Sonic the Hedgehog. So I booted up Sonic Adventure 2 and it worked perfectly. It kinda looked like a pre-alpha version of a fan game, but it was perfectly playable. Cars were low poly as expected, but rings were nice and round and fully 3D, which made them very easy to see. Other than that, I don't really have much to say. It was Sonic alright, but as if he was in a black and white dimension, which I'm pretty sure exists and he goes there in one of the games. Sticking with third person, I wanted to try Remedy's Control, and boy, I'm glad I did. It had the highest poly count / mesh quality in any of the games I tested, which made the effect so good you wonder if this is just a trippy level that's originally in the game. The oldest house was both recognizable, but also missing its moody ray trace brutalism made it kinda unfamiliar too. Just like Doom Eternal, I was amazed by the level of detail on everything, the clutter everywhere. I just wanted to replay every part like this, even though I played it a million times. Also, it didn't matter if a corridor was pitch black or well lit, the effect made it look all the same. And it was fun just running around in this sketch dimension with Jesse. Last third person game I tried was Red Dead 2. I kinda feel like you have to try either this or GTA at this point with something like this. Needless to say, it was perfectly playable, and it ran even better than usual, thanks to the fact that I was able to turn most graphics settings to their lowest. As for the vibe, I felt like I was playing a grown-up version of Sable. I'll try not to sound like a broken record too much, but once again I felt blown away by the amount of detail and the quality and smoothness of the animations in this game. As for overall vibes, it felt like I'm reliving one of Arthur's memories, which, come to think of it, it would be an amazing way to do that in a game, instead of the usual desaturated blurry look. Moving on then, I tried BeamNG but couldn't get it to work the way I wanted, so Standing In is a game using BeamNG's physics simulation Wreckfest. and boy did it look cool. I'm sure the novelty would eventually wear off, but it was such a unique way to see this game like this. Especially if you're on a Steam Deck and you're bummed out a bit about playing on the lowest preset, this would make most people excited, I think, while being able to turn off shadows completely if you wanted to. Additionally, seeing cars deform like this was a real treat. Makes you really appreciate the effort that went into making it. Next, I fired up Dirt 3 and it continued to blow my mind. This effect will be something I'll definitely use even after I'm done with this video. I played this game to death back in the day, but seeing the tracks in such a unique new way was amazing. Shibuya came alive as if it was a neon white and jet set radio crossover, with me in a Subaru just blazing through it. I don't know what it is, but stripping a game down to its basics like that makes me so much more excited about looking at small details like 3D crowds or mud flaps actually flapping. And finally, you can do racing games without including Assetto Corsa. It's the law, I don't make the rules. It looked very familiar to Dirt 3 or Wreckfest, but with noticeably more detail on certain objects. There's just something cool about seeing some recognizable cars driving around while you're playing a cartoon. Playing like this was kinda the opposite of something like RTX Remix or Quake RTX, where you have the rudimentary shapes, but you apply amazing lighting and shadows to it to make it look great. Here, you take away all that stuff, and you're left with just the shapes and the gameplay. Now I'm sure if someone made an indie game that looks exactly like one of these, many people, myself included, would be very interested. It's just such a cool aesthetic. And the good news is you can apply it to most of your favorite games today for free. And better yet, have a performance boost thanks to the graphics settings benefits I mentioned. Well, that will be it for today's video, and if you enjoyed it, please click all the buttons below, share it with your friends, and I'll see you next time.